Welcome to Developer Roadmaps. You know that feeling, right? That frustrating pause when you're waiting for a slow application to respond? Well, today, we're mapping out the solution. We're talking about caching and Redis, the tech that makes modern software feel absolutely instant.
So here's what's on the roadmap for today. We're going to start with why speed is so critical and why latency is basically the enemy. Then we'll get into the nuts and bolts of caching itself, see how it's used all around us, and then introduce the star of the show, Redis. First as a cache, and then, in a bit of a plot twist, as a powerful primary database that can totally simplify your architecture. Let's get into it.
All right, let's kick things off with a problem that every single one of us has experienced, whether you're building the app or just trying to use it.
I mean, we've all been there, staring at a loading spinner, just waiting and waiting. That difference between an app that feels snappy and one that feels like a total slog, it almost always comes down to one thing. How fast can it get the data it needs? It's a constant battle against latency, and believe me, every single millisecond counts. And this right here, this really gets to the heart of the problem. On one side, you've got your traditional databases that live on a disk. They're reliable, sure, but they're slow. It's like having to go dig through a massive warehouse archive just to find one little box. But on the other side, you've got in-memory stores like Redis, which keep everything in RAM. Now that's like having the box waiting for you right at the front desk. We are talking about a jump from milliseconds to sub-milliseconds. That is a complete game changer.
So to fix this whole speed issue, we use this amazing concept called caching. It's a really simple idea, but it has some seriously powerful implications. Let's break down exactly how it works.
So how do we actually get that front desk speed? Well, the idea is caching. Instead of making that slow trip to the warehouse every single time, we keep a copy of the most popular items in a small, super fast storage area right up front. It's basically intelligent duplication, and honestly, it's the secret sauce to a great user experience. Now, a cache hit is what we're always aiming for. It means the system looked for something, and boom, it found it in the fastest possible place, the cache. The user gets their data instantly, and the big, slow database in the back doesn't even have to wake up. It's a win-win. But, okay, what happens when the data isn't in the cache? Well, that's what we call a cache miss. It means we have to take the long way around, all the way back to that primary database. But here's the clever bit. On the way back, we grab a copy of that data and we put it in the cache. That way, the next time someone asks for it, it'll be a cache hit.
But wait a minute, what if the data back in the warehouse changes? You don't want to be handing out old, stale information. That's where time to live, or TTL, comes into play. You can think of it like an expiration date on your cache data. We could set a stock price to have a TTL of, say, 5 minutes. After those 5 minutes are up, the cache knows that data is probably out of date and it's time to go get a fresh copy. It's the perfect balance between being fast and being accurate.
I love this analogy from Cloudflare for how caching works on a global scale. CDNs, or content delivery networks, are like a worldwide chain of grocery stores. Instead of you having to fetch images from a server halfway across the planet, the farm, you get them from a local server, your grocery store, that's just around the corner. It's all about closing the distance.
Okay, so what's really important to get here is that caching isn't just one single thing. It's a whole strategy, applied at a bunch of different layers of technology, all working together to make everything feel seamless.
Let's actually trace a request and see this in action. The moment you visit a website, your own browser checks its local cache first for stuff like logos and style sheets. If it's not there, the request then goes out to a CDN, which has a copy stored somewhere nearby. And then for the really dynamic data, like your user profile, the application itself has a dedicated cache, probably powered by something like Redis. Every single layer is a checkpoint, designed to answer your request as fast as humanly possible.
Now, let's place the most critical tool for that backend caching layer on our roadmap, Redis. Seriously, when developers need to build a high-performance cache, this is almost always the first tool they reach for.
So what even is Redis? Well, it stands for Remote Dictionary Server. When it was created back in 2009, it was a pretty radical idea. It was built from the ground up to live entirely in memory, which is how it delivers those insane sub-millisecond response times. Sure, it can save data to disk so you don't lose it, but its heart and soul is just pure, unadulterated speed.
And at its core, Redis is just beautifully simple. You're not writing complex SQL queries, you just set a key to a value and then you get it back.
That simplicity, it's a superpower. It's what makes Redis so incredibly fast and so easy for developers to just pick up and use. For years, everyone saw Redis as just a cache, a little helper to make slow databases faster. But its role in modern systems has evolved a lot. The answer to that is a huge, resounding no. And think of this as a major checkpoint on your developer journey, because if you only think of Redis as a cache, you are missing out on its true power.
This is where things get really cool. With Redis modules, it's not just a simple key-value store anymore. It becomes a true multi-model database. You can work with JSON documents, build a ridiculously fast search engine, model social connections with a graph database, and even power the next generation of AI with vector search. It's like a Swiss Army knife for your data.
Now, this is a critical insight for any developer. So much of the complexity we deal with in modern apps comes from one thing: trying to bolt a separate caching layer onto a slow database. But what if? What if your main database was already fast enough? With Redis, your cache and your database can be the exact same thing. And that, my friends, changes everything. So you're convinced you want to use this thing. How do you actually get started and plug this powerful tool into your projects? Let's map out the path forward. So what's the next stop on your roadmap? Well, you've got a few choices. If you want total control, you can install and run open source Redis yourself. If you're in a big company and need enterprise-grade features and support, there's Redis Enterprise. And if you just want to get started, like right now, Redis Cloud gives you a fully managed database in minutes. The barrier to entry has literally never been lower.
So the next time you're designing an application, I want you to ask yourself a different question. Don't just ask, how can I make it fast? Ask, how can I make it simple? How would a data layer that's fast by default change the entire way you build? That's the real takeaway here. This is Developer Roadmaps. Map your path, build your career.